Don't be fooled, darling. If this is a norm all the time, you do more of the backside than the juicy part. That's a sign. However, what's important is to remember that your husband's homosexuality is entirely his responsibility and has nothing to do with you as his wife. On today's episode, I am going to be sharing with you women who are married to husbands and you really don't trust their sexuality. You have a little bit of doubt about their sexuality because of certain things that you've seen them do. And you just don't know how to figure out or to pinpoint if they're bisexual. Well, I would be helping you out by giving you some of the signs that you should be looking out for in case you think or you feel in your guts that your husband is not actually really straight, okay? And invariably, he's using you, as a cover-up. Most especially if you live in this African clime where a lot of people are pretty much homophobic, all right? So stick around. If this is your first time, I urge you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to get notified whenever I post a video here. You don't want to miss a thing. I've got lots of juicy content over here and I urge you to take a look at them. You would find one or two things that would catch your attention and you might just learn something new today, okay? Do that while we'll take a short break. All right, thank you so much for staying tuned. Now, far too many women these days are beginning to wonder if their husbands are gay or bisexual without ever talking about it with anyone else, which can feel very isolating, I can tell you the truth. And it's even worse to acknowledge it in this part of the world that I live in, as the majority of Africans are pretty much homophobic. Apparently, that's one of the reasons why, most African men hide behind the curtains of marriage, just so that they are not going to be figured out. They marry their wives and hide in the closets, leaving their wives clueless, because over time they have perfected the act of acting straight, behaving straight. And also considering the stories that we've seen of men being beaten for being gay, I could definitely understand why gay men or bisexual men would want to marry women for appearance's sake. All right, but then again, it is the women who become their cover-up props that I feel for. It's just really unfair to women who fall victims to these men, who are falling victim to the society because of your sexuality. Like I said, I absolutely understand why bisexual men or gay men would want to marry straight women, but then again, I cannot condone it, because honestly, it's so unfair to have women get married to bisexual men without knowing. And then they're left wondering how to tell if he's gay or if she's been sleeping with a bisexual husband. And the truth is that the clearest way to know if your husband is gay is if he tells you. If the husband is honest with both you and himself, that is when you can truly know that he's gay. But unfortunately, it is estimated that 50% of gay husbands hide their homosexuality from their wives and don't reach the place of honesty on their own. And in most cases, it is the wife who, after suspecting that something is wrong, that confronts the gay husband with the evidence. And only then can honesty be achieved, or maybe lies at the end of the day. But if you're wondering if your man is bisexual, it might just be helpful to you to know the signs to look out for. Number one, when you find out that your intimate life is virtually non-existent, like he's the least interested in having anything to do with you in the bedroom, and it's been stretching for months since after you got married, that's a sign. That's a sign. Now, most women who have married, gay men or bisexual men find themselves in a lot of trouble when it comes to this bedroom activity. And it totally makes sense when you're married to someone who is not interested in your gender. No matter the amount of cajoling or pleading with them to make, love to you, they will not be interested because the chemistry is not there. And it will never be. It's less likely it would ever be there. So as a result, nothing you do would make him interested in sleeping with you. Whether you go on to buy the sexiest lingerie or do anything to arouse him, he will never be interested more than he would have in order to, keep the image he's portraying. And men like that will try to convince you that all relationships have a decline in passion, even when you've only been together for a few years, okay? Number two, don't get all lucky when you think that, oh, he seems disinterested in other women. Don't get too flattered about that yet. That could only be the case because that's not an attraction for him. But be very worried when he still glances at men who just walk past him. You know, if he really throws comments or compliments at a beautiful woman who just walked past him, but doesn't waste time admiring the outfit or the look of, you know, a guy, then be very worried. And then again, let me let you know something. Women who are married to bisexual men or gay men will never catch their husbands watching straight porn. You best believe that they would also not be caught flirting with other women out there. Then when oftentimes he acts more like a female friend rather than your husband, that could be another sign to look out for. There's always going to be something about the vibe you're getting. You can never go wrong with a vibe. And while of course I can always attest to the fact that vibes are not always reliable, they oftentimes are damn good indicators that something isn't right. So if he acts more like a female friend than he does a boyfriend, he might be gay, he might be bisexual. I must state that there are bisexual men who actually do look and act every inch like a straight man. Alright? So this might not be indicative, a parameter to use. But again, if your husband has a lot of fetishism that seems like a cover-up for being into men, then it might be a sign. But much like the point that I made before this, you can have fetishes involving manly women, cross-dressing, or even butt penetration, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gay. In fact, shockingly, some cross-dressers are straight. But nevertheless, it should raise an eyebrow if all his fetishes somehow add to your manliness in one way or the other. Like for instance, if he tells you to strap on and do it from behind, or maybe he enjoys number two too often, even while your juicy pot is really tight. He enjoys number two more than the juicy pot. Some of them will even tell you that the sensation that they get from number two is way tighter and juicier than the juicy pot itself. Don't be fooled, darling. If this is a norm all the time, you do more of the backside than the juicy part, that's a sign. It's just fact that your man just wants you bending over so that he has you in his mind that he's doing another guy from behind. Do you get what I mean? So if he tells you that he wants you to use toy on him because he needs his prostate stimulated or because he likes some level of kinkiness, you better watch out. Now, another sign is if he doesn't get jealous no matter what you do, even if you try to make him jealous, that's one sure sign. Because a little bit of jealousy is normal, and oftentimes it is a sign that he's still interested in you. But when you notice that there is no jealousy whatsoever, that's a sign that he either has lost interest in you or never had any interest to begin with. Alright? If he's turned off by normal sexual activity and accuses you of being oversexed or aggressive or a nymphomaniac when you have normal sexual needs, then that's a sign. If his performances is more mechanical than passionate, with a lack of satisfying foreplay, if he claims that he is depressed and will blame his depression or medication for depression for his lack of sexual desire for you, if you find sexual enhancers such as Viagra hidden in his private hiding places, but you know he hasn't made any attempt to have any sexual movements with you, if he erases computer history on a regular basis, if you find pop-ups of gay pornography, if he claims that he feels trapped in marriage and doesn't explain why, if he travels a lot for businesses and you can't even track his activities, if he says that he's having a midlife crisis and becomes moody and depressed, if he visits gay bars claiming he's only there to hang out with his friends that look gay to you, if he watches corn movies with gay male scenes, if his ego appears to be boosted by, you know, compliments from men, and also watch out when he spends too much time on his looks more than you who is his wife, that's also an indicative sign. But then again, I need you to know that these signs that your husband might be gay are not meant to be definitive. Your husband may be gay and may not display any of these signs. Or on the flip side of things, your husband might display all of these signs and he's not gay. So it's dicey. Bottom line, you just need to sit, have a talk with this guy and let him tell you. And when you're having a talk with your husband, right, don't come from a judgmental point of view. Let him express himself. Let him be, Put him in a situation where he doesn't need to feel judged. All right? And if you can't take it, then you can go your separate ways, but also safeguard his integrity, especially if he lives in an African setting like this. But nevertheless, these signs of a gay husband are designed as a starting point, but not a definitive point. Then I advise that women should learn to follow their instinct. It never goes wrong. We're just the ones who try to live in denial. Do you get what I mean? However, what's important is to remember that your husband's homosexuality is entirely his responsibility and has nothing to do with you as his wife. You've not been the one who is inadequate in any way or shape or form. You need to understand that some gay men believe that being married can help them get rid of their homosexuality tendencies, but that of course is not true. So those are the signs. All right then, I hope you did enjoy every session, every moment here. Thank you so much for subscribing. Don't you forget to hit the like button and do share if you really think that this video is going to help someone out there. Until next time, keep living the fab life. I love you. Mwah.